Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Johnston. If this is your first time here, this is a YouTube channel where we talk a lot of gear. If that's the kind of thing you might be into, please hit that subscribe button and stick around for future videos. We talk pedals, we talk amplifiers, we talk writing, mixing, and production, and today we're talking guitars. And in specific, today we're talking about this new Orangewood TreeTone collaboration guitar, the Del Sol. I'm not going to hold this up for the whole video. So we will get into the Del Sol in specific in this video, but before we get into it in particular, I want to talk about a trend I am seeing in the guitar industry, broadly speaking, over the last couple of years. For the past 5 to 10 years or so, I feel like we have seen a really big spike in the quality of import guitars, specifically from South Korea. There are a bunch of brands that are doing great work building guitars in the Mir factory and a couple other places there. But in the last couple of years, I feel like we've also seen an interesting trend line going up in terms of the quality of import guitars from the broader Asian market. For a while, it did feel like the tier list was kind of US, Japan, South Korea, and or Mexico. And right now we are seeing guitars come in from Indonesia, from China, that are shockingly good quality and coming in at price points that I think are really compelling, especially for what you're getting. But also these guitars are pretty compelling all on their own. So let's talk about the Orangewood TreeTone Del Sol and its position in that new trend line. I just feel like a compulsion to pick up whatever I'm talking about, but we're going to be cutting away to like actual detail shots of this, so I shouldn't have to carry it. The Del Sol is a body style designed by a really great builder on the East Coast here in the US called TreeTone. I've actually been following his work for several years now, and the version of this guitar that Orangewood has brought to market here has basically everything I want out of a guitar of this style, with this very retro offset design that feels both very of the current moment while still being very mid-century. You have a chambered offset body, semi-hollow design with an F-hole above the pickguard. The body itself is made from mahogany both on the back and the front and the sides. The neck itself is roasted maple with a rosewood fretboard. 21 frets. It is a very comfortable kind of vintage C shape. Not super chunky, but definitely nothing modern and thin. You have a 12-inch fretboard radius. The frets feel great. And you have Grover locking tuners that have actually provided a shocking amount of tuning stability. I'm recording this portion of the video after recording all of the sound samples that we are about to get into, and I stopped to check tuning one time throughout the entire sound samples and found that everything was still perfectly in tune. I didn't have to retune one time during that entire section of this video. And so far, everything here feels very easy to approach and classic. The body style feels very vintage, but fresh, but still familiar. The neck is that classic C shape, roasted maple, rosewood. You know, it's everything you kind of like want out of a guitar that feels like an old friend. But that isn't to say that there aren't any tricks up the sleeve of this guitar. The pickup configuration here is really interesting. These gold foil humbucking pickups are not any specific thing. The website just lists them as gold foil humbucking pickups, and I don't really have any further insight into what they are. What I can tell you about them is they are pretty mellow in that kind of classic gold foil way, just with a little bit more of that humbucker low mid weight to them. I think that they are at their best with brighter, chimier amplifiers. We are using the Bad Cat Hot Cat 50 throughout this video in channel 1, which is kind of like a nice top boost chimey kind of thing. It benefits well from a really articulate signal chain to kind of bring out some chime in an otherwise pretty like chill sounding guitar. I kind of like that for this because there are more pickup configurations than you expect in this guitar. You will see on the face of the guitar you have volume, you have tone, and then you have your kind of main pickup selector, three-way, neck, middle, bridge. But there's a secondary smaller switch in between volume and tone pots, and that switch flips the polarity of the neck pickup. And what that allows you to do is get into the middle position and do an in or out of phase pickup configuration, giving you access to kind of classic great middle position, really full, offering up some extra chime. Or you can flip the polarity of that neck position pickup and get those really kind of comb filtered out, squawky, very vintage Mustang style sounds. sounds. It's the kind of thing that really scoops out a lot of the body of the guitar in a really aggressive way, but as you will hear in her sound samples, for certain, especially ambient contexts, can actually be a really phenomenal sound design tool for layering guitars in. You will have also heard that on that intro track a little bit. And finally, in some of the kind of key design elements that I want to kind of call attention to here is the fact that this guitar has the truss rod adjustment in a really nice place. It is not up at the neck, it is at the neck and body joint, but the fretboard is cut so that you have clean access to the truss rod for adjustments without having to remove your strings, much less having to remove the neck itself. It's just little modern amenities that you like to see in some guitars, especially a guitar like this, because once again, this guitar is not a US made instrument. This comes in from Indonesia, and it came in playing really, really well. But before I started work on this video, I did take it to my tech to have him give me a once over on it, truss rod adjustments, set up the action, just a little bit more to my liking. And this is where you end up with a little bit of the push-pull of some of these modern instruments. For a guitar under $800 from Indonesia, this guitar I think is excellent. I don't even want to caveat it like that because I think that this guitar sounds and plays in ways that I really love, regardless of price. I think this guitar punches really far above its weight and can just be, with no asterisks, a really good guitar. And that's kind of what you need, because ultimately country of origin matters way less than whether or not you like your instrument. But I will say that this is not a flawless instrument coming in. While the neck itself feels great and is perfectly straight, and the fretwork on the sides feels amazing, there's no sprouting, there's no big issues. I don't see any like physical or visual signs of any bad fretwork and everything. The frets are not perfectly level all the way down. But the only reason I even know that is because whenever I give one of my guitars to my tech, he likes to slam the action as low as he possibly can and then basically bring it back up a hair. And when he brought this action nice and low, there were spots that were giving us some fret buzz issues, things that were totally unsolvable other than by bringing the action back up again. And it's worth noting right now that the action for the way I play is incredibly comfortable. I don't want or need it any lower than it is right now, but if you are somebody who is a shredder who is buying something like this to do like really like legato-y sweep picking on it, then your mileage may vary. And I just want to be very clear about that because that's my experience with this particular model in specific. I have no idea if this is true across other versions of this guitar. I've only played the one. That aside, the guitar showed up playing great. The pickups sound excellent. I have no wiring or structural issues with the guitar anywhere. Finish feels great. Even that cool TreeTone back plate on the neck joint is just such a great touch that shows that like care and intention went into this instrument, which is amazing for, once again, a guitar under $800 in 2026. Also, the guitar ships with a gig bag, and it's a really nice gig bag. So I think we've said enough on this front. Let's go ahead and plug the Del Sol back into my rig and let's walk through some sound samples. We're going to take a pretty kind of easy, straightforward approach here. We're going to go pickup by pickup, and on each pickup we are going to start with a perfectly clean sound. We're going to engage things like the Chase Bliss Tonal Recall, the Strymon El Cap, the Quiet Theory Prelude, and turn up the amplifier reverb on my Bad Cat and hear it in more of an ambient context. We'll then also give it a listen to some overdrive with the Audio Kitchen Fake Plastic Trees overdrive and just kind of showcase some versatility with this guitar. And then we will wrap up by giving a listen to the volume and tone pots in terms of how they roll off on each pickup position. So let's get into it.
you.